So I'm making this video. This one is about witchcraft. This one's about magic, uh, spells, anything that people try to use to control your mind into believing in a false identity that they've just simply corrupted you with. All right, and how to overcome it, what to expect. It's a lot of stuff, and it's going to be really in depth. It's going to help open your eyes up to overcoming these things and looking for the signs on what the Most High is trying to help you realize and see for yourself. The process of this is going to be very frustrating. It's going to be very overwhelming. There's a lot that really went into overcoming this, and even to this day that has a lot of scarring, in the mind and what this can do to you. All right, so I just want you to know that you can overcome it. It's a process. This took me about 6 months, half a year. This could take you a lot less with the information that I'm giving you, depending on what he wants you to experience, what he wants you to understand, how he's going to build you and, make you a lot stronger during this process. Okay? So again, it's kind of like, these things can happen violently from another perspective, from our enemies, but you also need to understand that he's allowing it to happen. Okay? He's just like the story of Job, if you've read it. Satan went directly to the Most High and was, kind of somewhat complaining about Job, saying he's only praising you because you're giving him all of these things, right? You're giving him everything that he's asking for, and that's the only reason why he's praising you and giving you all of this worship. And then the Most High directly told Satan, he said, you can do with him as you please, just don't kill him. So you need to understand, there's things that he's allowing to happen. And Job, he was righteous. He was the guy at that time, and he understood, at least from his perspective, why he was getting blessed, why he was, favored in the sight of the Most High and everything. All right, so you need to understand that these things happen because he's allowing it to happen. All right, so these might come upon us from our enemies, but it's a process, and it's something that we need to learn for ourselves, something that we need to try to just really pay attention and develop a spiritual understanding to what it is that he wants us to go through. All right, so again, this is very in depth. It's probably going to be pretty long, so I'm just going to get right into it. Ephesians 6:12. Let's see. This is just right off the bat. For our conflict is not with flesh and blood, but with principalities and with those in authority, and with the possessors of this dark world, and with the evil spirits that are under heaven. All right, and so again, I'm reading from this one. I've already taught from this one many times, but this is what it is I'm reading from. So just so you guys know that when you get revealed to, or when you get shown things about who put this on you, or just, again, people that are plotting on you, all of these things, setting you up and whatnot, you need to understand it might be the person, but it's mostly the spirit that's in them that's making them do these things. Okay, so you gotta be mature about it. You gotta understand that this person and this spirit that's in this person is driving them to do these things. All right, but not at that time, because it is the person. You gotta understand, there's a difference. The person obviously is the one who took the initiative to do these things, right? But later on, it's something that that you're gonna have to come to terms with, realizing that there's dark forces and spirits that are gonna bring people into your life that are going to try to make you subject to them, make you subject to a lie. Like it's just a chaotic balance of trying to understand and like really being professional about these things. It's not like it's not it's not uh, it's not easy. It's really not easy. It's something that you really got. It's an art to all of this. Like you got to learn to read things. You got to learn to, and when I say things, I mean people, situations, your environment. The birds, the language that he provides to you. It's You've got to learn to master yourself and your relationship with him in order to understand how to master overcoming the devices of our enemies. Okay, and so it's really something that's takes time and patience with. Okay, like I've been hit really hard recently, and it's you just gotta take it for what it is, and not let your emotions get the best of you. You're gonna have days where you're gonna break. You're gonna have days where you're just gonna feel trapped, inside yourself, or just with some situation, but you gotta pray for strength. You gotta allow him to let you overcome these things, these obstacles. Let him guide you. All right, like you gotta really be patient with all of this. So here we go. Voices. All right, a voice or voices. Now, what happened to me? This is my experience. I woke up one day, went to the gym. I had this subtle voice. It was one singular voice in my head, and it was saying things. It was saying something, trying to force an identity onto me, right? It was just programming my mind to like believe in this, okay? And it could not, like, let's say you have voices, all right? So let's say this thing, you get multiple voices in your head. It's making you think. It's making you put an identity in your head. Like, let's use Paul as an example before he got saved. He persecuted the assembly, and he was even there at the time giving consent to somebody's death. I forgot who it was. But he allowed that person to die through his consent. Okay, so put it into perspective here. Let's say him, he got hit with something, magic, a spell or magic or something, and he was being programmed to think that that he was a murderer. Okay, so let's say this voice is being ran through your head, murderer, murderer, murderer. All right, let's use that as an example. He's, like that, and for you, I don't know what it could be. It could be anything. But for that, let's use him as an example. It's being programmed in your head, murderer, 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 because he gave consent to this person dying at the time before he got saved. All right, and then after he got saved, let's say somebody hit him with a spell, somebody hit him with some magic, witchcraft, enchantments, whatever, and they're rerunning that into his head and into his mind. And then you just need to understand it's going to start altering your way of thinking. It's going to really mess you up. Okay, so again, like I was just going, whatever, things happened, things came about the way that they did, and I noticed that the voice was stopping when I went to work. Okay, I was going to work, it stopped. It broke me too, because like when you hear this voice in your head that's completely foreign to your own internal mind, when you're just reading out loud in your head, and you hear this other voice that's so loud, like you start subtly like realizing that there's something wrong. But then when you come across this thing that's like just being so loud in your head, and it's overshadowing, and it's just taking over your thoughts, and you're trying to think something so intense in your head to make it overcome this voice, that you can't, that's the freaky part that happened to me. I broke down and I didn't realize what was happening at that moment. And so I was going to work, I started to cry, and I I even prayed. I told the Most High, I was like, don't leave me like this, like I don't understand what's happening. And I ended up getting to work. It stopped. It completely stopped, and I knew something was wrong. I knew something was up, and I knew something that it wasn't me, right? And so I get to work. I'm there. I'm talking to my coworkers, whatever, blah blah blah, and there was one guy. The one guy. I I get there, and he just had this smirk on his face. All right, just like a smirk of him taking pleasure in this thing that was affecting me. Okay, and so right off the bat, I read that, but like I didn't want to jump to conclusions. Okay, I just kind of wanted to be like, all right, hold on, wait, let me, whatever. I was at work. It might have came up one time, whatever. I didn't really think anything of it because I knew something was up at that moment. All right, I had an idea of who it was, but I didn't want to jump to conclusions. And so, again, it's going to be hard to read. It's going to be hard to focus. You're going to have this thing that's going to it's going to really manipulate your mind. It's going to it's going to really transform it's going to alter everything. It's so dark, and it's so destructive to your thinking patterns. Again, try to put it into perspective. Paul, let's use him as an example. Again, he was a murderer, being programmed into your mind. And what that's going to do, it's going to make him think of ways to again, it's going to alter his reality, all right? So that's in his head. In the background, okay, the voice is going murderer, but in the background of your mind, you're not even picking up on it, but in your flesh and what's being stimulated and aroused is finding ways to murder somebody. It's finding ways to indulge in that excitement of murdering somebody. It doesn't even matter what it may be, but behind the scenes, the voice is being overpowered in your head, but what's being built up in the background is you not realizing that this thing is trying to take pleasure in finding ways to indulge and be fulfilling that desire, and I'll get to it in a minute, but that's exactly what it's doing, and it's very destructive to your head, and that's so everything that you're going to go through is completely normal, and I completely understand exactly what this does, and it's so I hope I can help you with this. Because it's not you, all right? It's this thing that's it's completely it's damaging you. It's doing so much. It's doing a lot. Or like let's say something with like homosexuality, all right? Let's say you used to do that before you got saved. It's being beaten into your mind, right? It doesn't matter what it may be. Again, it's building up things in the background that you're not even aware of until the voice goes away, okay? So it could be any sin, it doesn't even matter. But you just need to realize it's not you. It's something that has been planted there, and it's something that's been forced into your mind to make you be reprogrammed and rewired in your head, and to indulge in that sin that was once nailed to the stake, okay? That's been nailed to the stake for you to be free and where you are today. All right? So this is the stuff that we're up against, and it's sick, dude. It's perverse, it's dark. It's very destructive. And so, you know, I just want you to know it's something that can be very, very freaky. The best way I can describe it is like, you know, there's people like in insane asylums, you know, and they've kind of like got a straitjacket on, and you know they're talking, you know, they're kind of like schizophrenic and whatnot. Like, them not being able to handle that, or even, you know, be aware of the situation and realize, you know, how to overcome these things. That's exactly what it's going to feel like. That's the best way I can describe it, you know. You feeling like, you know, hearing these voices, or, you know, something that's going to make you just lose hope, you know, lose hope in understanding that, you know, maybe this is something that can't be fixed, all right? But I'm telling you, I figured it out, all right? So all you have to do is read, okay? All you have to do is read. So let's get, let's see. And so when this was happening to me, you know, whatever waves, or this overpowering voice, it's gonna come in waves. I was working out, whatever. It would happen when I'd work out. It would happen when, uh, you know, I kind of like didn't. I kind of was like studying it for like, I think, a week or a couple days, you know, before I actually started to read, because I was like realizing like, okay, there's something here. I don't know what it is, but let me try to understand it, you know. And even though it was this overpowering dark spell or magic or whatever it may be, witchcraft, enchantments, um, I knew that it was coming in waves. So I'd work out, it would be there. I wouldn't. I'd go to work, it would stop, and then I'd go work out, it would be there. I'd work out, it would be there. You know, it'd be like there at certain times of days when I wasn't close to this person. All right. Or and then when I think I started to catch on and think, that person started to do it while I was at work, to make it seem like I wouldn't know who this person was, right? And so you like, it's like being able to read again, read the situation, read people, read certain times. Like, you've got to use everything, all right? Everything, dude, like you have to really pay attention and use everything. And so, um, and again, once these things start reoccurring in your mind and it comes in waves, look at people. They're gonna start smiling. They're gonna start like looking at you with hatred and angry eyes. You know, it's really giving them a justifiable reason of false hatred. All right, like it's fake, dude. Like, you gotta understand, like, the stuff that they're doing, the extent that these people are going to try to find a reason to hate you is immeasurable. All right, they're gonna do everything to try to make it seem like they're just, that what they're doing is okay and right in their eyes. All right, that's what you need to understand, that what these people think that they're doing is okay and right in their eyes. All right, but when you understand and pray and, you know, put in the work to try to overcome this stuff, he's going to shut that down and make you overcome their lies and this wickedness, all right, this darkness. And so you just got to be patient, all right? And so I just want you to know, like, when you start hearing these voices and you start being freaked out, you know, and your dreams aren't making sense, you getting overwhelmed with all of this new foreign attack. Just know that you just need to just really need to tough it out. Like, I don't know what else to say, you know, like, it's just like something that you have to try to understand for yourself, something that you have to just really be patient with, okay? Like, he's brought you out of so much at this point, all right? Like, you need to understand that what he's brought you out of, what you now see at this moment before this video, the things that you know to be true, you know, people may have started plotting on you. You might be able to see, Some people with snake eyes, you might be able to smell demons in people, smell that nastiness. You might be able to, whatever it is at this moment that you see, before this video, you need to understand and accumulate all of that he's brought you through, and know that he's not going to give up on you, okay? Like, you need to know and have faith that where you are right now, he's not just going to leave you in this position. He's not going to leave you in this spot to make it seem like, this is it. Like, this is where you're at. Anything that you've done, because he knows how hard you're trying, all right? If you're legitly trying, and if you're really, making his name known, all right? Doing things right in his eyes, all right? And that's what matters. You're doing things right in his eyes, not the world's, all right? The world doesn't know him. The world thinks his love is hatred, and the world thinks his hatred is not love, all right? But if you read the Old Testament, anything that he's ever done has been specifically for love, all right? And for a better beginning, and something that's been more, something that's just for his children, you, all right? You. And so you got to understand that from a spiritual perspective. And yeah. So let's see. I'm gonna go to, and this is what I've read that kind of made me just tired and honestly really want to try to understand and get this taken care of. And this is Matthew 17:13. Matthew 17:13. All right, so Matthew 17:13, and I'm just gonna read from the verse here, and it says, let's see, 17:13. Yeah, I'm just gonna read it until I stop, I guess. All right, I'm going to read for a while. Okay, so Matthew 17:13. Then the disciples understood that he spoke to them about John the Baptist, or Yochanan the Immerser. And when they came, the crowds approached towards him, and a man bowed down on his knees. And he said to him, "My master, have mercy upon me. My son, who has a demon, is badly afflicted. For many times he has fallen in the fire, and many times in the water. And I brought him to your disciples, and they were not able to heal him." Yahushua answered and said, "O crooked and faithless generation, until when must I be with you, and until when must I endure you? Bring him here to me." And Yahushua rebuked it, and the demon went out from him, and the boy was healed from that moment. Then the disciples drew near to Yahushua while he was alone, and said to him, "Why were we not able to heal him?" Yahushua said to them, "Because of your unbelief. For truly I say to you that if you had faith in you like a grain of mustard seed, you could say to this mountain, 'Move away from here,' and it would move, and not a thing would be able to prevail over you. But this kind does not go out except by fasting and by prayer." And that verse is what helped me realize that I needed to fast. All right, I started fasting from that moment, because this thing is a demon. It's a devil. It's a fallen angel that has creeped into your mind. It is something perverse of nature that is completely foreign to the Most High. You need to understand that, people will use these things. People will use fallen angels. People will use these demons that are full of darkness to come at your light. All right, that's just what they do. It's just what it is. All right, like you just gotta be prepared for this stuff, and that's just what it is. So the fasting, when I came across that verse, realizing that his disciples couldn't even take out that demon, and only Yahushua was able to do it at that moment. Like, you got to realize, like, he's at the top of his game. All right, he's already been tempted by Satan. He's been healing people up until this moment, and for it to be in that text and that detailed about fasting, you have to take the initiative for yourself and start fasting and do as what's said right there. What's commanded. And that's from that moment, that's exactly what I did. And I didn't want to lose faith or hope in getting this thing out. And from that time and from that moment forward, I did. It's I fasted for 4 days. It was 4 true days. 4 days. I drank water, but I had no food. No food, strict no food. It was 4 true days. It was actually 5. I'm gonna get into this, but it was 4. The first day, I don't really count it as a fast. I just let my body do its cycle of breaking down whatever food's inside me from the day before, and I let it just, I let my body prepare for the next 4 days, or for that next day of feeling that fasting being upon you. You feel the heaviness. You feel your body just feel, wanting that yearning for food. You feel your body, somewhat cleaving to the idea of food, and you want, that next day is the true day, for me at least, and what I think of it being, where you can get into prayer mode, where you can start asking him and start praying and start, really cleaving to him. You want to cleave to him in prayer like you want to cleave to food, or like you're wanting the idea of having food in your mouth. All right, so again, like, as much as you want food, you need to have the idea of, like, you need him more than you need that food at that moment. All right, and so for the next 4 days, that is where, I realized, okay, this fasting is this fasting is something that really needs to be implemented on you. You need to start doing this. You need to start really believing and having that belief transform your mind. You need to start reading. You need to start, and it's going to be hard. Like I said, the Psalms. Like, if you read the Psalms, it's going to be really hard to try to understand and, like, read. But eventually, that voice is going to go away. It'll really stop. It's gonna stop. And so after the 4 days, after that first prep day, that's when I had some fruit. All right, and then I started to come to it. Like, okay, I got rid of the voice. I got rid of it, or the voices, and it was just so relieving. All right. So fasting, I want you to know, fasting is the key to getting rid of the voice or voices in your mind. Things of that sort. Fasting 4 days for sure is what I did. It could be, it's 5 really, but like 4 days, 4 days of a true fast of no food with a little bit of water. That is what helped me get rid of the voices, or the voice. Okay. And so I want you to know that that's exactly what you need to do. So let me go to this thing in the back here, because this is going to help touch on understanding how important prayer is. Okay, and so I'm just going to read this. This is from the back. I might have read it in some other video, but this is what the importance of it is. All right, and this is just what helped me again, prayer is so intimate, and it's so spiritual. It's so touching, and it's so amplifying, but it's got to be, again, you have to like, you just have to be in an elevated conscious state where it's like, I need you, and I hope you can hear me. Like, please understand that you're everything that you've made me up until this point. So don't, please do not forsake the works of your hands. And it's like, you got to be like, every proverb, every psalm, every prophet in the Old Testament, like, their intimate relationship with the Most High. Look to that as an example. Look to that as something that you can look for. It's got to be real though. Like, it's got to be, has to be real. It can't be watered down. It can't be fake. It's the only way you're going to be able to get through this day in and day out. it just has to be there. Some things are going to be confusing. Some things are going to be, you won't know. Some of your dreams you're not going to be able to interpret, so on and so forth. So I'm going to read this prayer. The importance of prayer cannot be overstated. Yahushua prayed daily to his Father and taught his disciples how to pray and make prayer to our Father. He taught his followers that we are created in Yahuwah's image, and that the Father is accessible to all who seek him with a humble and contrite heart. We do not pray because Yahuwah needs to hear our prayers. He already knows our thoughts before we think them. We pray because we are the ones who rely on Yahuwah for life and need to maintain our connection with him. It is imperative for us to invoke his name in prayer because without an active prayer life combined with a contrite heart and obedient disciplined lifestyle, it is very difficult to hear from heaven. And again, invoke his name. When I read Genesis, or the other video about Yahushua versus Jesus, what I came across in Genesis when he was speaking to Moses was, or I think it was Exodus, was he said, "My name is Eyeh Asher Eyeh." It says, "I am that I am," but it's in Hebrew, and it matters. It really does matter. Like it's understanding that, you want to draw close to him. You want him to show you that, this is the healing that you want. Like, you mean business. You want that relationship. You want him to be a father to you, and so again, you can invoke his name, Eyeh Asher Eyeh, or even Yahuwah, or the son's name, Yahushua, but it does matter which name you use. There can't be two names. There's only one, and it's Yahushua. So anybody who says Jesus or this and that and blah blah blah, it's a lie. And so we are called to be set apart people because he is set apart, and this is done by welcoming his spirit inside of us and having his Torah written upon our hearts, so that we may live according to the ancient paths, also known as the way. Paul exhorted the body of Mashiach to pray without ceasing, which can only be accomplished if prayer is a spiritual conversation. The promise of the renewed covenant is to have Torah written upon our hearts. Torah is the word of Yahuwah that dwelt among us in Mashiach, who represents the spirit of Yahuwah, and who came in the flesh during the first century to, among other things, teach his followers how to receive the Ruach HaKodesh. The word of Yahuwah speaks to us through Mashiach, who provides instruction, discernment, and counsel to those who turn their hearts towards Yahuwah and pray and seek him. Praise and worship unto Yahuwah opens our hearts to hear his word. Our prayers help renew our spiritual lives each day, so the word of Yahuwah can become part of us while we become part of him. All the forefathers and prophets of Yahuwah prayed without ceasing, through an ongoing dialogue within their spirits. But at special times the word of Yahuwah appeared to them, or he spoke through one of his prophets to provide specific instruction. It is incumbent upon each soul to prepare their own hearts to hear from heaven. There are plenty of examples of formal and public prayer throughout Scripture to learn from. The prophet Daniel, for instance, prayed 3 times daily. He would face Jerusalem while he prayed, which shouldn't be of any surprise for those who know that Mashiach is returning to Jerusalem. While Daniel prayed facing Jerusalem, he was clearly showing his allegiance to Yahuwah's government and to Zion, which is both earthly and heavenly. The messenger of Yahuwah called Daniel greatly beloved of Yahuwah, and of course Daniel was afforded enormous insights into Mashiach's coming. Paul teaches about being ambassadors for the Mashiach, and he goes on to say, "It is as if Elohim was pleading you by us in behalf of the Mashiach." That's 2 Corinthians 5:20. In other words, it is not flesh and blood that reveals Yahushua as the Messiah, but the Spirit of Yahuwah. The Word of Yahuwah and the Spirit of Yahuwah are also the Spirit of Mashiach. They are descriptive names for the arm of Yahuwah revealed. Whether one feels more acquainted with Mashiach or the Spirit of Yahuwah, the point is that these are one. When Yahushua came to earth in the flesh, we were able to look upon him with our eyes and hear him speak as he revealed the Spirit of Yahuwah. Yahushua teaches, "But when the Redeemer comes, he whom I will send to you from the presence of my Father, the Spirit of truth, he who proceeds from the presence of my Father will witness concerning me." Notice that The Redeemer is also the Spirit of truth. This is referring to the Ruach HaKodesh, which witnesses on behalf of Mashiach. And Mashiach witnesses on behalf of the Ruach HaKodesh because they are one. Therefore, when prayer is made in the name of Mashiach Yahushua, it is not so much that we are reminded of the flesh and blood of Yahushua, who once walked on the earth, but the Spirit of Mashiach, and the word of Yahuah, who indwells his people. Excuse me. In the last few minutes of his life, Stephen cried out, "Behold, I see heaven opened and the Son of Man standing at the right hand of Elohim." Stephen and King David both saw the Messiah at the right hand of Yahuah. But then Stephen, who was full of the Ruach HaKodesh, prayed, "Our Master Yahushua, receive my spirit." He certainly wasn't praying to the flesh and blood of Yahushua, as this would have been idolatry. Rather, he prayed to Yahuah, who is revealed in Mashiach. If we study Psalms 110 from ancient texts, we read, "Yahuah at thy right hand." Therefore, the revelation of Yahuah, who is without end, is revealed to mankind in Mashiach in such a way that mankind can have a relationship with Yahuah through the Ruach HaKodesh and through his Messiah. And in that day you will not ask me anything. Amen, amen, I say to you, that everything that you ask of my Father in my name, he will give it to you. Yahushua did not come as a substitute to replace the Father Yahuah. Rather, he affirms the original faith of Abraham and all the forefathers according to the word of Yahuah, as given in Torah and the prophets. We have been directed by Mashiach to ask Yahuah in the name of Yahushua, which addresses not only the essential element of faith in Mashiach, but the nature of the Father Yahuah, who is outside of time. As we approach Yahuah in the name of Yahushua, we accept the redemption Yahuah provides through Mashiach. We don't pray to Yahushua because that is not what he himself advocated. In Romans 7:14, Paul teaches that the Torah is spiritual. It is the unceasing prayer within every follower of Mashiach that speaks to us and guides us and shows us the way of Mashiach. Prayer is a dialogue, which means we must hear from Yahuah. But the spiritual world, mankind hears not with his ears alone or even his spirit, but through obedience to Yahuah's commandments. Yahushua said, "The first of all the commandments is, Hear, O Israel, Master Yahuah, our Elohim, is one." Simply hearing the commandment audibly in no way satisfies the requirement. In reality, the spirit of man must be conformed to the spirit of Yahuah. When this commandment lives within us, then we have entered into the word of Yahuah, which is the Mashiach. Here, O Israel, refers to the Israel of Elohim, those who are alive according to the spirit of Yahuah. Master Yahuah, our Elohim, is one, refers to the undivided authority and government of Yahuah, who is given total authority to direct our lives and each step along our paths. Prayer is life in connection with Yahuah and his Messiah, which is why liturgy and the use of a prayer book are very helpful to nurture a dialogue with heaven. Or you can just read the Psalms and the Proverbs and understand how, intimate they were, wanting and saying things to the Most High, just understanding and building that relationship that was there. Again, just really, all the answers are in the Word, and if they're not in the Word and you can't understand it, then that's when you need to fast and pray. And I'll get to that in a minute. Most of the prayers in a Siddur are based on the word of Yahuah. They are simply arranged in a very specific way to approach Yahuah with the great awe and reverence that is due to his great name. Meditation and study of Torah are very elevated forms of prayer and worship. As we study the word of Yahuah, our spirits increase as if to say, "Hineni, here I am, Father, teach me your will." May our prayers be like David, who prayed, "Open thou mine eyes, that I may behold wondrous things out of thy Torah." And so, again, prayer is it's very important. It's very important when you're fasting for this amount of time to get the voice out of your head. It's very important when you build, the dialogue with, praying to the Most High. It's very important with being specific on what to repent about. I'll get to that in a minute. It's very important to just have this relationship. It's got to be intimate. It's got to be very real. It's got to be, it's got to be true. So, uh, when you pray again, you need to pray in secret. All right. There's a reason. I've realized at this point that the places that I used to pray that I thought were enclosed, or this and that at the moment was they're now wired. All right, so I go to the gym. I used to pray when I was there working out, just sitting there by myself. Nobody would hear me and whatnot. But now, since I've been getting hit pretty hard, uh, you know, these places are now wired with mics for for other things, for the the feds. So it's very important to pray in secret. Be careful. Just where you pray at. Just like Yahushua says, go into a room and pray to your Father who is in secret. Just be careful which room it is. It could be bugged. There's going to be things that people are going to try to do to entrap you with your own personal, intimate relationship with the Most High. Okay? Whether it be through repentance or whatever, they're going to try to find a reason to charge you with whatever it may be. Right? So just be really careful on what it is that you're doing, where it is that you're going. So just pray in secret. Be alive. Understand that things are live the moment you wake up until the moment you go to sleep, even when you're dreaming. All right, everything is live now that you're awake. It's all live. So look for the signs. Just look for the truth. Okay, and if you don't know, then play it safe. All right, there's nothing wrong with playing things safe, especially when your life depends on it. Okay, there's people that are just so evil and have this ill will towards you that they don't see things the way that you do. They don't see things the way that some of these other people do. All right? They don't see the things that the Most High does in the way that He does. All right? So you just got to really understand where to pray, how to pray, being specific, just all of these things that really tie in together into freeing you from this whole process and stuff. All right, and so after that, prayed, fasted. The fasting. So let me go to Psalms 35 and I'll explain this a little bit more. Psalms 35, 13. So I'm just going to read it from the verse. It says, "But I, when they were sick, I put on sackcloth. I humbled my being with fastings, and my prayer would return to my own bosom." Now, what that is saying, if you don't have an answer, if you're praying and you're not getting an answer, you need to fast. That's exactly what it's saying. When you fast, your prayer is going to return to you while you're sleeping in a dream. It's going to return to you to where your mind's going to be elevated and you're going to be able to see exactly what it is that you prayed for. Okay, so when you fast, instead of it coming in 5 to 7 business days, you're going to get it in one day. You're going to get it within that hour. You're going to get it within a couple hours, or even from the moment you start fasting, you're going to start thinking, your mind is going to start thinking healthily in an elevated state to where what you prayed about might not even be an issue, and you're going to start getting it. You're going to start understanding it. All right. So fasting is so important. This is what helped me, dude. I'm telling you, when you fast, your prayer is going to return to you a lot quicker than it would in 5 to 7 days, in 2 weeks, sometime down the road. It's going to be instant. All right. And it might not be a day, it might be 2 days, because you're not so used to getting that direct communication and connection with Him. All right. So you really, this is, I'm telling you, instead of it becoming so far out there, you're going to get it a lot quicker. So again, reading these things, reading the Psalms, reading Proverbs, understanding their relationship, understanding that there's stuff that in here that is mapped out to you, but you need to read and you need to understand and how, develop this relationship and intimacy with him. All right? It's all here. It's all here. And you just got to be in it. So again, I'll read it again. But I, when they were sick, I put on sackcloth. I humbled my being with fastings, and my prayer would return to my own bosom. So again, it's so important. When you pray, you're going to get the answers you're looking for. When you fast, you're going to get the answers you're looking for a lot quicker than you would without it. Okay, so again, don't over fast. Don't try to put so much emphasis on fasting, because I'll get to that later. But in the moments of, what it is that you're seeking and what it is that you're trying to do for yourself, you need to understand the importance of what this fasting can do and how much it can help you. It's going to get rid of the voices, all right? It's going to get rid of that. It's going to get rid of, it's going to help you with getting the answers that you've been searching for and seeking for a long time, all right? But you've got to be able to understand and interpret your dreams correctly too. So there's a lot that plays into this, but right here, where he humbled, it says, I humbled my being with fastings, and my prayer would return to my own bosom. Understand how powerful that is for you as an individual when dealing with these things. And then, once all is said and done, the voice goes away, everything, whatever, voices, whatever it may be for you, the schizophrenia, whatever it is, the Most High revealed to me who it was. All right, He revealed exactly to me who it was. Actually, let me step back. So during the time of fasting, let me jump back into this. During the time of the 4 days that I was fasting, I had a dream, and the dream was about this being. All right, so this being was just monstrous. All right, it was so destructive. It was so overpowered. It was just this thing that I was going to battle with, okay? I was fighting this thing. I was taking it head on and whatnot, and that's just, he's showing that imagery in my head to let me know, okay, this is what's taking place right now, all right? So this is exactly what's taking place. It's normal. Understand that this is part of the process. It's a battle. Don't give up. Just keep enduring, keep going, keep pushing forward, keep fighting this thing, and don't give up. All right? So that's basically what he's telling you. You need to understand that. You need to really believe that what this dream is trying to tell you is just don't give up. Have hope, have faith. There's stuff here that teaches us exactly what we need to do. Again, this stuff isn't easy. It's not sunshine and rainbows all the time. There's storms that you have to get through. There's things that you have to endure. There's things that are going to make people think that they've got you pinned into a position, but whether or not where you are on your spiritual journey, you're going to prove them wrong. All right? So this stuff that you really need to pay attention to. And again, so yeah, it's a battle. It's like an epic battle, all right? I watch anime, so any overpowered character from all universes that are in one, you're fighting that, okay? You're fighting that if they were in an evil state, all right? So it's literally what you're fighting. That's the best example that I can put it, all right? That's what it is, dude. Or let's say any main villain from any Marvel universe, all in one, or even all the good guys but turned bad, and they're all in one, overpowered into this one person. That's exactly what you're fighting. All right, you as the individual, that's what you're fighting. Any character from DC, anything from any superhero movie, whatever it is, any good person or even bad person that unites as one evil person, they go rogue or whatever, that's what you're fighting. That's literally what you're fighting. So that's what it is, all right? And so again, when you need to endure this, you need to keep going through it. And I had a dream about forgiveness, and this is where he spoke to me in my heart about really reassuring you what it is that you're going through, and knowing that your heart is more valuable than what's being put in your head. Okay, and so I had a dream about forgiveness. And so in this dream, it was I was driving around in my car. Some kid threw a big old rock through my passenger windshield, and it caused a lot of damage, right? And I'm driving around looking for this kid because I can't find him. And then I go and I see him, and it was my younger self. And I'm just like looking at him, and I'm like, the dream was a lot more intimate than that, but like at that moment, I knew that I was the only one that could forgive him. All right. And so he's going to communicate with you knowing how precious and valuable your heart is, to where that is what brought you to this position in the first place. That's what brought you to repentance. That is what defines who you are today, not this thing in the head that's been put there. Okay? Not the things that have been nailed and that are remembered no more in his eyes. Okay? Your heart, that is what he cares about, and that's what he treasures the most. Okay? So he's going to show you things. He's going to bring things into yourself to make you realize, like, okay, this is what matters. Okay? This is what matters, and this is what's a lie. This is what matters. And so there's and this is for when you have witchcraft, magic, spells, whatever it is, enchantments that have been done to your mind. And, he's going to show you that your heart's worth more than these thoughts, okay? But I'm going to do another one on this stuff and the witchcraft or magic or whatever that's being attacked at your heart. And this is a different level, and this one's going to hurt a lot more than this stuff, okay? So I'll get to that at another point. But that there's people that will literally attack your heart to make you take pleasure in thinking things, and it's gonna hurt a lot more than what this does. All right, they're both the same, but knowing that these people can come after your heart, which is so precious to the Most High and even to yourself, it's something that can be very frustrating and just very, very damaging. But that's going to be for another video. And so, let's see. And so during this whole time, right, I had, he was communicating with me through bugs. He was showing me the darkness that was there. He was showing me, like at the time, me realizing something entered into my home, something entered into my mind, and it was me. I'm afraid of wasps. Like, I hate them. Like, I was stung by one when I was a kid on my stomach in a swimming pool, and it kept going at me even though I was under the water. And I hate them. I hate wasps. So at work, there was nothing but these tarantula hawks. All right, they were all outside these rooms. I work at a resort, and they were all outside these rooms. Even on certain rooms, they were just there waiting. There was some even inside the rooms, okay? And so he's going to use that to let you know that there's these things that are sitting outside of your head that are just waiting to get in. And even when we'd go into the rooms and start, stalking and whatnot, there would be a tarantula hawk in that room just sitting there on the curtain. All right, and so he's going to communicate to you, like, there's things that are outside waiting to get in. And if they're already not in, there's, he's letting you know that there's something in there and that you don't, like, this is the language that he uses to communicate with you, all right? And you really need to be picking up on these things. And so, also another point was that, I'm afraid of these things, and I'm not going to touch these things, all right? So I went into a room, I saw one in a room, I left it there, whatever. I kind of left, and I didn't tell anybody about it until the next day. I don't know where it went, whatever, but like, I'm not going to try to extract this thing out from the room. And then I think the following day after that, there was one in the room, and I was like, okay, I need to tell somebody. I went to go tell my coworker, and then he went to go take the wasp out of the room, all right? And then at that moment, I realized he was the one that put it there, because he, like, it's weird, like, you know, like, you see these things and it's like, it's just crazy. All right, so you need to understand, like, the one who was taking the thing out was exactly the one who put it there, and that's what I read for myself in that moment. All right, and so, like, take it by chance, think it's chance or whatever, but like, there's things that really need to be communicated to you at that level, to where you might not even realize it until moments later, you know, days, months, whatever. Okay, so, like, just try to understand. And so, all right, once all is said and done, you know, he's going to communicate with you with these things. Even a dream, like, I had a dream too, that there was a wasp in my home, you know, and I didn't even get it out. My son was the one who told me that there was a wasp in here, and I still would not get it out, you know, like, I would not get this thing out. And again, like, even if it's at work or whatever, he's going to try to communicate to you that something is here. It's going to use fear, or even, like, you know how wasps look like an alien, right? Or like a praying mantis. It has an alien shaped head. It has a mantis, like, you know, alien type being. That's exactly what it is. It's an alien. It's not like, and that's what you need to understand too. Like, these insects, they're not just insects. Like, they're a reflection of what's in heaven, all right? And they're like here, you know, like, they're aliens, dude. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, yeah, it's an insect, but it's an alien. You know, like, it's exactly what they look like. You know, grays, whatever. It's in your head. That's what it is. And so, you know, like, there's so much that goes into play here. There's so much that goes into trying to piece things together without overthinking, or even not thinking enough. Okay, or just, you got to find that balance. And it's crazy. So, all right. So all is said and done there, and the after the voice went away, I had a dream. I had a dream about who it was, about who it finally was, and you know, it was my coworker. And he, you know, again, like I said in the beginning, like, I had an idea, but I didn't want to jump to conclusions, right? Or jump ahead. I wanted to let this play out and see exactly who this was. And so once I got rid of the voice, or the voices, it he showed me who it was. And so I drew some pictures here to represent exactly how this stuff works, okay? And what to expect. So this is exactly my drawings here. This is not, I'm not an artist, but I'm just doing this the most simplest way I can. So mind my drawings. So this is supposed to be a head, all right? Bam. So I wrote, this is, you know, voice or voices, and I said this is the freaky part. So this is the head of you, the individual, and this, all this black right here, is what's being interpreted and forced into your mind, all right? This is what's all being done in here into your mind, and it's rewiring everything, all right? It's literally programming you to, like I said about Paul being a murderer, finding ways to murder, finding ways to, you know, whatever it was, you know, that I'm using him as an example, you know, these things. Like, it's literally rewiring your mind to make you think things are okay and acceptable in what this darkness is doing to you. Okay? So I understand completely what it is that you might be going through, and just know that it's not you. Okay? You're being manipulated. You are being completely controlled, rewired, and, you know, rewired to the liking of what this thing is being planted in your head. So I understand. You know, so don't freak out. Don't be hard on yourself. Let things play out the way that they need to. Okay? So just know that when this is being put here and you're so focused on trying to get this out that you don't even realize that once you get the voices or the voice out, this is what's been built up inside of you. Okay? Now this is the hard part that comes after everything that I've said. This is the hard part. Because this is what's frustrating. This is what's going to cause pain. This is what's going to make you upset, and mad. This right here, this black dot. I said this is what normal is from now on until you get it taken care of. Okay? This is what normal is. And so this is what has accumulated from behind the scenes that has been rewiring you and reprogramming you. Okay, so again, this was the voice or voices. And then once that's gone, this is what you're left with. This thing. And I can say that this is like if you were to walk around, this is the exact imagery that I can give you. If you were to put a pebble, it doesn't matter how big, it doesn't matter how small. If you were to put a rock in your shoe and you were to walk around with that all day, every day until you go to sleep, until you wake up, for months. I've been dealing with it for 6 months. You, I hope, will be dealing with it for less. But if you were to walk around with that in your shoe, big or small, whatever it is, you know how annoying that is. This is exactly what this feels like in your left eye or in, on the left side of your brain. It's there. You can feel it. And it literally feels like a shard or like something that's just stuck there. Okay? And this is what's now in your head after, and this is what normal is after you get the voices or voice out of your head. All right? And this is where it takes some time. Okay? So this this right here, the red are thoughts, and the negative sinful thoughts are making this thing grow. Okay? That's what the little black lines are. It's just expanding it. Okay? And so if you don't get this taken care of, it's going to continue to do a lot of damage. It's going to make it big. It's going to make it huge. It's going to accumulate in size and mass. And so again, these thoughts, I understand these thoughts are not you. These thoughts have been rewired in your mind to think and be programmed into what this thing is trying to make you indulge in and like. Okay, so understand that it doesn't matter what it is that you try to do. It doesn't matter what it is that you try to read. It doesn't matter how much you try to read. These thoughts are now wired in your head because of this darkness that's there. Okay? And so what's happening is when you think something, it doesn't even matter. Like, you could be anywhere and you could be doing anything, whatever it may be. And you're just there in the moment. And for some reason, you're thinking something that has nothing to do with or that you didn't even plan or intentionalize to think. It's just naturally occurring now because of what you've been dealing with this whole time. It's just there. Okay, so don't ever let anybody try to tell you anything different. These thoughts are just there and they have to happen. This is what's being missed here. So I don't want you to think that you're a bad person or anything like that or anything. But these thoughts, they have to happen. And so when it happens and expands, this is what's important. So the blue is when you repent, okay? And so when that thing expands, you need to be specific and in detail about exactly what made this thing grow. And you're going to feel it. You're going to literally feel it get big, okay? And you're going to feel it, like you're going to feel ashamed, you're going to feel guilty, you're going to feel horrible, you're going to feel bad, you're going to feel just hurt inside, okay? But there's nothing you can do about it. Like, I mean, at that moment of what makes that thought transpire, it's just what it is. Like, you have to let it happen, okay? And so, and what's going to be even more frustrating is that people are going to be able to read your thoughts and understand exactly what you're thinking, and they're going to make you think you're a bad person for not understanding this process that I'm helping you go through and helping you understand how to get through it, okay? So just never mind them and just understand the process of what it is that you need to go through, because this is everything that I had to do and figure out for myself. So the blue is repentance, and after it's expanded, once it like gets big, and at that moment being in detail and specific about what it is that you need to do, it's going to break. And once it breaks, you're going to feel it in your head. You're going to be like, ugh, like it just feels like, I don't know, like, let's say you're swimming and you're down in the water for a long time and you finally get that fresh, that air into your lungs. That's exactly what it feels like. But it's like in your head, and like this is the best way I can describe it. So it's going to break. And once it breaks, it's going to die. Like a part of it's going to die. Okay, these things that are there in your head, it's going to break off and it's going to die. But you're still left with that. But just know it's a process of understanding how to get rid of this stuff. And then I'm gonna read this real quick. It says, when it happens, you've broken or felt repentance work. Okay, yeah. So when you know that you felt repentance work, you're gonna feel it break inside your head, even behind your eye or whatever. You're gonna feel it, okay? And then just know that when that happens and you start feeling this sense and this aura, this healing going on in your head, he's gonna show you bugs. He's gonna show you insects. It could be a stink bug, it could be a fly, it could be a cricket. Anything that's dark and black, that's a bug. You're gonna see it on the floor. Like walk your path, and you're gonna see it, and it's gonna be like crawled up. I've seen a tarantula just crawled up and shriveled up, knowing that going through this process, knowing that these thoughts need to happen, and then knowing that the repentance needs to follow after it, is killing this thing that's in there. Okay, so you're gonna see these bugs shriveled up, flies, again, tarantulas, anything black that's a bug. It's representing the darkness that's in your head that's dead. Okay, it's not completely dead, but it's showing you that it's breaking off and it's killing little by little. All right, so that's exactly what's gonna happen. That's exactly what you need to understand and like really pay attention to. And so when you go through this stuff, again, it's perfectly normal. You need to just endure. You need to be patient. You need to be strong. You just need to get through it. Like you have to get through it. Like don't try to like you can't be a baby about this stuff. Like you just, like even Job. Like when Job was crying and he was in so much pain, like he was laying there and he was just like hurting. The Most High told him to like gird up his loins like a man. Like he told him to be a man and to, literally like this is what he's telling us to do. Like, yeah, we're gonna have our moments where we break. Yeah, we're gonna have our moments where we cry. Where we don't know what to do. We feel lost. We feel hurt. We don't have the answers that we're looking for. But just like Job, he told him straight up, be a man. Like it's time to wake up and be a man and take care of what it is that you need to do. Like it's what it is. So either a man, woman, whoever, you just got to do what you have to do. Again, you're gonna have days. He knows, he understands exactly what it is that we're going through, but don't sit there and wallow in pity and think that he's gonna submit to your feelings. Like he's not gonna do that with the children in the wilderness. The ones that he killed and cut off from the rest of his righteous children are the ones that were willing to learn and accept his authority. Do you think he's going to submit himself to those wicked ones that he cut off just so they can feel better? No. Like he took care of business the way that he wanted to and was supposed to, and went about being Elohim. That's exactly what he did. So, put it into perspective here. That's exactly what you need to do and understand for yourself. All right? So, again, this. So, back to this. It breaks. It's going to break off through repentance. And then you're going to see bugs, dead bugs, shriveled up. Maybe even twitching, right? Knowing that this thing is finally killing it, okay? You're going to see them. You're going to run into them. They're either going to be completely dead or they're going to be twitching, okay? Like knowing that they're slowly dying, all right? So understand that language there. And then it's going to shrink down, all right? It's going to shrink down. It's going to go back to this. It's not over. It's not going to be over. It's not going to be completely over for a while. I mean, not for a while, but just hold on. So it's going to shrink back down. It's going to be smaller than what it was in your normal state, okay? It's going to be this. And again, no matter what you do, no matter what it is that you try to think, no matter how much you read, no matter how much you fast, the last bit of this is, I'm going to tell you how to get rid of it. But no matter what again, no matter how much you read, no matter how much you fast, no matter how much you try to alter your mind to think what it is that you thought before you were attacked, it's still going to be there. It's still going to be there. And it's going to keep feeding that darkness into your head. It's not going to be as strong. It's not going to be, I'll tell you, it's not going to be as strong. It's not going to be nearly as strong as it was in the beginning. It's not going to be it's not going to be loud. It's not going to be as damaging, but it's going to be there. And everything that you've gone through that led you up to this point, you're going to accept it. You're going to be like, okay, it's obviously everything that I've done has led me to this. A little bit more freedom in my head, a little bit more calmness in my mind. All right? But again, you're still going to get these thoughts, and it's still going to expand, and it's still going to break off. Okay? It's going to be a repeated cycle, but no matter what, it's going to keep shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. Okay? Until it gets to there. But just know it's still going to your thoughts are still going to try to feed it, basically, to where it gets big, and then you repent, and then it breaks and it shrinks down. But there's still going to be that little pebble there, the smallest uncomfortable rock that you can find, and put it in your shoe and walk around with it. That's exactly what that is. And so and then, let's see, what did I do here? Okay, yeah. And then, once that happens, knowing that that's where you're at, you're going to feel, I drew, again, whatever. So, this, you're going to feel pressure. This person, or these people, might try multiple times to get into your head, okay? They've tried, I think, maybe 2 or 3 times that I can recall, to where they try to break in, essentially. All right, so this is outside forces trying to get in. And so even though you still have this here, whatever it is that they're doing or using to try to get in, to make this start all over again, it's not going to work, because you fasted and you've prayed. No matter what, like, this stuff that initially first brought the voices or voice into your head, no matter what they do to try to redo that, it's not gonna it's not gonna work, because you fasted, and because you you did the works, you were praying and doing everything that you were supposed to. And so even though you have this, it's not gonna affect the work that you've been putting in to get rid of this. Right? And so, again, you're going to know when they try to bring it on to you too. You're going to just feel, like I said, you're just going to feel pressure. You're going to feel this enclosing type thing around your skull, and it's like you're gonna feel it. You're just gonna feel it, and it's whatever. So understand the process of being patient with all of this, knowing that this is something that I've already gone through, and hope that I can help you with understanding that. And so I ended up fasting again for another 2 days. I did it, I think it was like 2 or 3 days. And I, there was a buildup of guilt in my conscience. And so this thing, again, was just making me full of guilt. Okay? And so I fasted for another 2 days. And I, 2, maybe 3, so it might vary from person or you. And I repented, and it broke up that thing so much more in my head. Like, it just completely, like, it probably took about like maybe half of it off, and then it, like, I was like, oh, okay, like, you just feel like the work that you're putting in, and the work that is being done for you to be where you are, all right, or where you're going. So fasted for another 2 days, even with that pebble in my head, and I repented from having a guilty conscience, because it was making these things come back full circle in my mind and replaying that in my head through guilt. And so when you do that, you let it go, it's going to stop, and it's going to stop feeding you. Again, this thing is finding ways. Like, it's not just darkness that's sitting there. It's a live being. It's a live being, and that's what you need to realize. It's finding ways to articulate and bring things into your head on how to make you its prisoner. Okay? It's a live being. Like, it's alive just like how I'm alive right now. It's alive. And so it's doing everything it can to try to stay there into your head and make it rewire and find ways to manipulate your state of consciousness. That's exactly what it's doing. So just know it's not just one thing that you need to keep repenting from. It's fine. It's like an AI. It is. It's. I mean, obviously it's a live being, but it's finding ways. Like, once you repent from something, it's gonna find something else to try to, bring itself back into your head. Like, it's some crazy shit. Oh, it's it's some crazy stuff. Like, it's literally like an AI, and it's working to try to do some stuff, like do more damage into your mind. Like, that's what it is, dude. But just know it's more advanced. It's more advanced than AI. It's been here for thousands of years. These beings have been here since the beginning of time. This darkness, these devils, these demons, they know exactly what they're doing. All right, so that's why you need to be specific and in detail about exactly what triggered this thing to grow, and to where it made you feel ashamed that you even thought that. But just know that you need to repent, and that's going to take care of it. It's going to counter it. It's going to break it off. It's going to do a lot more than what you think is going to happen. All right, and so you need to understand that these fallen angels, these beings, these demons, these devils, these users of magic and witchcraft and sorcery, spells, they know exactly what they're doing. Sort of. Or maybe they don't. They don't know what they're getting themselves into. But still, like, the beings that are coming with putting that stuff on the people, they've been here for a long time. All right, so those things know exactly what they're doing. Okay, so just know that it's like AI but times 10. All right, so it's exactly what it is. Let's see. So let me go to Deuteronomy 18. (9 through 14). So this is the Most High Yahuah talking to us. And I just want you to understand, like, the difference between us being his children and, like, what other people do, and, like, just what it is that he's communicating to you, all right? And, like, I want you to understand, like, on his stance with what's being happened to you, okay? And so, here we go. It says, when you come into the land which Yahuwah your Elohim is giving you, do not learn to do according to the abominations of those nations. Let no one be found among you who makes his son or his daughter pass through the fire. That's a child sacrifice. Or one who practices divination, or a user of magic, or one who interprets omens, or sorcerer, or one who conjures up spells, or a medium, or spiritists, or one who calls up the dead. For whoever does these is an abomination to Yahuwah, and because of these abominations, Yahuwah your Elohim drives them out from before you. It says, be perfect before Yahuwah your Elohim, for these nations whom you are possessing do listen to those using magic and to diviners. But as for you, Yahuwah your Elohim has not appointed such for you. Okay, so you need to understand his stance on what's happening to you, on these things. So, like, don't think he's going to leave you. Don't think he's going to leave you to make you, like, fend for yourself. Again, it's going to help build you. It's going to help build your strength in relationship with him, okay? It's going to help you understand that, like, because of this teaching, I'm able to help you. It's going to help, things like that. Like, you got to understand, and, like, really just know his stance on what's evil and what's acceptable in his eyes, okay? Like I said, there's people that believe the things that they were doing to me were acceptable, okay? But he calls it an abomination. And so you need to understand that the things that he's done to heal me, these people are mad because of what he did for me. So, like, you need to really understand the sides here. His will obviously outweigh the false accusations, lies, and everything that are being put onto you, because you're a brand new person. You are brand new. You are clean. You are divine. That's exactly what it is, and that's what it's about. So, and I'm living proof of that. So, I just want you to know that you're his child, okay? And he's not gonna leave you. You are to walk in his image, and he wants you to be like him. That's what the whole point of the whole good news is about. You need to obviously repent and, let your heart transform you into the person that you were meant to be, but through his guidance. All right? Like, he's the one that saved you. There's so much perverseness on the outside world, on the outside from what it is that he's trying to help us with, that they don't really see it or realize it, okay? But again, that's why we go through these things to help others, okay? And so it's like, I'm not trying to, like, condemn anyone. I'm just saying, like, I want you to understand his stance with this, with you, and with these forces that are being put upon you, okay? So I need you to understand that. Okay, so Psalms 27. Psalms. Let me see. 27. Oh, I just took this one out, but, like, really, if you read any of the Psalms, it says, like, it's just more so for intimacy and, like, building endurance, building spiritual stamina, building patience, strength. Like, if you read their prayers and their intimacy, them crying out to the Most High, them cleaving to them cleaving to him, knowing that he's there with them. All right, so I just took this one. It says, wait on Yahuwah, be strong, and let him strengthen your heart. Wait, I say, on Yahuwah. So, and if you want to read it in the context, I mean, you can literally read any of the Psalms, and it's teaching you patience, it's teaching you endurance, It's teaching you spiritual stamina. It's teaching you relationship, intimacy. That's what it's about, and that's what it is. That's what he's teaching you. So, and then Exodus 15:26. And again, this is if I didn't. So his commands aren't only what's written. It's the things that he show you in his head. It's the thing that he tells you within yourself when you come across people, when you analyze certain situations, when you know that somebody's trying to make a move on you, you feel a pain or you feel this sense in your consciousness that, okay, this person is obviously trying to communicate with me to get me caught up in something, okay? Like, again, his commandments aren't only what's written, but it's directed towards you. He's speaking to you in a language, and whether or not you can pick up on it, you know, that is a commandment from him, and if you don't listen, you will be subject to your enemies, okay? And that's just really, you gotta listen, all right? So this is Exodus 15:26, and he said, if you diligently obey the voice of Yahuah, your Elohim, and do what is right in his eyes, and shall listen to do his commands, and shall guard all his laws, I shall bring on you none of the diseases I brought on the Mitzrites, for I am Yahuah who heals you. Okay, so he is Yahuah who heals you. He's the one who's bringing you out from all of this. He's the one that gave me all this knowledge and information to share with you. Okay, he's the one that's doing it. It's nobody else. It's disrespectful to try to think to, you know, if I were to go out of my way and be like, oh, you know, Jesus did this and blah blah blah, like that's disrespectful to him because his name is in the Son's name, Yahushua. All right, and so he's the one. His name is written in the Old Testament. It's Yahuah. All right, so like, again, like that would be disrespectful for me to go out of my way to completely change the narrative and to go and praise a fallen angel that manipulated the texts and to, you know, give my worship to that's wrong. Okay, and so when you understand that, it's very important to get, you know, to build that relationship so you can understand what's right in his eyes and what's wrong in what the world says. The world says Jesus, right? But he says Yahushua. So who's right and who's wrong? You see what I'm saying? Like, this is what's crazy. This is what's acceptable to him is wrong in the world's eyes. What's right in the world's eyes is wrong in his eyes. And the names clearly demonstrate that. Again, the names, I say names because one is Jesus and one is Yahushua, but there's only one, and it's Yahushua. So, again, these are the things that need to be taken into consideration. Psalms 125. Excuse me. And so, again, these are things that once you wake up, once you come out and feel this weight, this freedom from all of this this process, you know, once you feel like you're actually getting through something, and you know deep in your heart that this is, you know, that it's him that's doing it for you. Psalms 125 is something good, so I'm going to go ahead and read it. It says, those who trust in Yahuah are like Mount Zion. It is not shaken. It remains forever. As the mountains surround Jerusalem, so Yahuah surrounds his people, now and forever. For the scepter of wrongness shall not rest on the land allotted to the righteous, lest the righteous stretch forth their hands to unrighteousness. Do good, O Yahuah, to those who are good, and to those who are upright in their hearts. But those who turn aside to their crooked ways, Yahuah shall lead them away with the workers of wickedness. Peace be upon Yashrael. And so, again, these are things that I'm not trying to put and force in a negative light towards our enemies. I'm using, the good the good from the intimacy and him building you up, trusting and knowing, what it is that he can bring you out from, where you're at right now, his stance on you and who you are, things like that. So that's just that's what I'm trying to speak from these Psalms here. And this is Psalms 138. I give you thanks with all of my heart. Before the mighty ones, I sing praises to you. I bow myself toward your set-apart Hikal and give thanks to your name, for your loving commitment and for your truth. For you have made great your word, your name above all. On the day I called, you did answer me. You made me bold with strength in my being. Let all the sovereigns of the earth give thanks to you, O Yahuah, when they shall hear the words of your mouth. And let them sing of the ways of Yahuah, for great is the esteem of Yahuah. Though Yahuah is exalted, he looks on the humble, but the proud he perceives from a distance. Though I walk in the midst of distress, you revive me. You stretch out your hand against the wrath of my enemies, and your right hand saves me. Yahuah does perfect for me. O Yahuah, your loving commitment is everlasting. Do not forsake the works of your hands. And again, he's not going to forsake you. You need to understand how precious you are to him in his eyes. Okay? And that's what all of these Psalms are. The Proverbs are all here to teach you to understand and to be wise. But the Psalms are here to help you understand that intimacy, that relationship on what you have as an individual and how he sees you as your child. Okay? He's not going to forsake you. He's not going to leave you. He's not going to let this darkness consume you. He's not going to... But you have to be willing to put in the work to, to show him. This is what, this is what I want. Can you help me? Can you heal me? Please. I need you. This is, haven't I shown you, that I mean business with you? Things like that. My loyalty to you. Obviously he knows, but just like a father wants to hear something, or a parent wants to hear something from their child, to know if they need help with something, we know, but for some reason we just want to hear it. It's we want to know if that person or if the child is growing up and developing, that they need to, have, that expression for help or something, Again, he already knows exactly what it is that we need, but he wants to hear it from us, that's the only way we can communicate with him, It's our voice, our mouth, literally can do so much, When the Most High said in the beginning of Genesis, let there be light, he said it. The Most High said it. You got to say these things, and we're supposed to be walking in his image. And so, prayer, again, is it's something so important with the mouth and being able to say these things, that we need to speak to him, through prayer, through just intimacy. We can't just, or even within our heads, our own thoughts, or whatever. If somebody's probably gonna be oh, somebody can't speak. Well, okay, he can communicate, okay? That's all I'm saying. He can communicate, but he wants us to communicate in a way that we can communicate with him, all right? It doesn't have to just be vocally, all right? So, again, you hear what I'm saying? So, now, this last part is what I just recently found out. This last part is what is But is what made me realize this, how to make this go away. And it's very important, and it's something that is the last and final step, I think. It is the last and final step, I should say. So in the end, well, there's like a little bit more after that, but this is it's like a chapter, like in a book, right? So this is that, and then I'm going to go through how to finish it. But before that, I don't know if I spoke yet on this person, coworker. You never really know who might be doing these things. You don't know who's going to come after you. You don't know what their motive might be. You don't know why they might be doing these things. You don't know who or what their intention is behind it. Okay, I was shown exactly why they did it. I was shown exactly what made them want to do it. And I just want you, just for some context here, we would talk, we would be somewhat friends. He considered me as a friend from his own mouth that he said that. I was always cautious with people. I still am today with people I come across. I just figured he was just, like a coworker friend, if that makes sense, and he, the things that we would talk about, just really strong stuff that is kind of, I guess, friends would probably talk about. I don't know. But we would talk about, the Bible. We talk about fallen angels. We talk about aliens, portals, the vaccine, stuff like that, things of that sort. And, I've even had a dream about these people, this person and this other person, and it was a dream about zombies and us running from the zombies. And so the zombies, from my understanding and what I know to be true, are people. They're devils. They are the CIA. They are the FBI. It's the government. It's, just everyday regular people. It is the government. That's who they are. They are zombies. And not only that, but like they're criminal informants. They're CIs. They can be in your neighborhoods. They can be your family. They can be your friends. They can be whoever. They're people that have this hatred towards you because you're doing something that is going to upset the balance of what it is that they know to be their reality. Okay? So you need to understand that when you're doing something, and whatever it is that you're doing to find the truth, whatever it is that you're doing to get your knowledge further, for yourself, knowledge or even when you start speaking against what the system that's already put in place, you're going to have these zombies come after you. It doesn't matter who they are. They can be your friends, family, coworkers. They can be, people in your neighborhood. They can be friends that you thought were your friends, and that start making a move against you because of what it is that you're doing, all right? And so this person, I've had dreams about this person and this other person, and we were friends. We were together running away from these zombies, or we were attacking these zombies, we were challenging, we were going against these zombies, right? And that was us putting our minds together about the vaccine, and they were listening, These people are listening to exactly what we were saying. That was us, making things known that shouldn't have been known, all right? Things like that, or even just them probably just helping me in general, or not even that, just I think being associated to knowing and, understanding the truth of what the word is teaching, I should say, understanding like, the in-depthness of the book of Enoch, the fallen angels, just things that shouldn't be spoken about, but are being spoken about amongst us, okay? And these spirits and other people that are listening, you know, they caught on to that. They were listening to our conversations, and they ended up moving against all three of us, okay? And we were going against them, but, you know, things happened. You know, people can give into fear. People can give into temptation. People can give into uh, a lack of faith. You know, these things that made them now my enemy. Okay, so like you get what I'm saying. So I was friends with these people, and we were going against these zombies together. But whatever those zombies did to these people made them in turn zombies themselves to come against me. All right, so now we were no longer friends, but they were simply my enemies. All right, and so I mean, it is what it is. Life happens. You know, temptation is real. Uh, it's it's just I don't know. It's whatever, I guess. So that's what zombies are, you know. And when you wake up, no matter how many people you try to wake up, no matter what it is that you want to do for yourself, even though it's going against the system or what other people might believe to be wrong, you're gonna have these dreams about zombies. You know, they're gonna be coming after you. They're gonna try to put fear into you. They're gonna try to scare you. They're gonna try to, you know, make you subject to them to not do what it is that you want to do. You know, but you have to have faith. That's the whole point of all of this. I live by faith every day. You know, I listen, I pay attention, and you can counter these zombies. You can move right through them. You can destroy them. You can, you know, with the dreams that I've had, you know, being able to stand your ground and like really destroy them coming against you by knowing what you believe and stand to be true in your heart by faith. You know, you can make them move in a different way, or you can destroy them. You can, you know, you can do these things that can help you grow for yourself. All right, like there's just so much that you just need to be taught on what to say, or like how to deal with it. You know, like yeah, you're gonna be afraid. You are gonna be afraid. Again, look what happened. These people were probably afraid. They were probably threatened. You know, like these are the things that happen. But if you have a connection and a relationship with the Most High, and he's showing you in dreams that everything's gonna be okay, or like in your dreams you have like all of this light on a specific um, situation or person, or you have this light showing you a path or whatever it is, like that's him communicating to you, like okay, this is the direction that you need to go. This is what's real. This is what's, you know, authentic. This is what it is that you need to. Um, this is where it is that you need to start moving for yourself, or something like that. You know, I don't know. It could be anything. It could be something in conversation. It could be, you know, again, these zombies that are coming after you. It could be straight red, darkness, hatred, anger. They're gonna have this aura around them. You know, they're gonna be coming at you, and anything. You can have dreams about cops. You know, the feds. You having them come against you for whatever reason. You know, it's like all this stuff. You know, you got to really be in tune with your dreams and understand that um, these things that you're facing every day, some people might not be able to go through, and they're going to make themselves subject to that, and then in turn are going to be exactly what it is that you're fighting against. You know, they're going to be added to that. So, you know, it depends on the dream. You know, if the dream is telling you to not get involved with something, don't get involved. You know, if the dream is telling you do this with light, then do it. Or, you know, just know that there's something there with that it's showing you. All right, there's so much that goes on with these things about zombies. You know, people coming after you, people trying to hurt you, cause harm. These things that, you know, they're trying to put fear into you. They're trying to just make you. They're just trying to make you not want to. You know, it could be things that they're saying too. Like they can make you program your mind to be subject to them, either with the words that they're speaking, or you know, not trusting or believing what it is that you know in your heart. You know, it could be anything. You know, like they could be trying to manipulate you. There's many ways that they can come at you, but just know that these zombies are people, their family, their friends, their CIAs, uh, they're the government. You know, they're spirits that are operating through these people. Okay, now is there such thing as a real zombie invasion? I don't think so. I mean, I don't know. Maybe one day. That's what I know to be true about zombies. You know, there's a there's this. At first, I thought zombies were like there was gonna be an attack soon. You know, like there was gonna be somebody dropping. You know, there was gonna be a zombie thing, which is why I thought all of these shows about zombies. You know, The Walking Dead, the World War Z. You know, all of these things were, and these zombies in your dreams are like the ones in World War Z. You know, like that, dude. Like they are like that. Sometimes you could be chilling somewhere, and they could just be like the slow walking zombies. You know, some people that just don't really fucking care. Excuse me for my language again, but like just don't care. Or they can be like the World War Z zombies, where they're trying to really get you and instill something into you. All right, so what was I saying? So like yeah, like the World War Z, Walking Dead, like these are all parables, and I think a reflection of the remaining few people in this world that are going against the remaining dead in this world. I don't want to say that, but like you know, like I'm just using it from that standpoint of zombies. Okay, so like you know, is the person going to take the initiative to stand on what it is that they believe in and knowing, you know, and believing in what is true and right, or are they going to eventually be one of these zombies? You know, so that's what it is, dude. Like that's basically what I think it is. You know, now I probably shouldn't say this, but what's one more thing added, right? There's this. If you go on DuckDuckGo, it's a search engine. Type it in, click it, and you go to, and you type it in on DuckDuckGo. You type in Rwanda zombies. Now that you can't find it on Google, you can't find it on YouTube. That shows exactly what the government has tested in regards to frequency and you know doing to soldiers and making them have like zombie-like effects. You can't find it anywhere, but if you go on that, check it out. uh, yeah, but that's its own thing. So that's just what I'm saying. You know, again, zombies, um, they are people. Again, they look out for white vehicles. I hate to, like that's literally what it is. They're devils. They're you know they're not all in white vehicles, but just pay attention. You know, there's different levels to each person and the status that they hold. Okay, so just know that there's things that are you know they're playing on a different level and they have certain levels and statuses that they abide by, and we are just simply being. Okay, so you just need to like really understand. Like again, I say white vehicles because that's all I see, and that's all I know to be a reflection of some sort of status that these people hold. Uh, you know, it could be anything else. You know, it could be something that, like, again, they don't have to have white vehicles. They could have colored vehicles, or I don't know. But I know, like, when you see white vehicles, just you know, not only that, but like other things too. So just okay, hold on. Other things like just the smell. Like if you can smell demons, like dude, they smell horrible. They smell nasty. You know, they stink. They are absolutely disgusting. You know, it's repulsive. I can't stand it. So I don't know if you guys can smell them, whatever. I don't know, but you know, there's so many signs that you can see. You can feel things too inside yourself. Use your intuition and feel stuff. Like you're gonna feel like a fight or flight thing. You know, like knowing when to stand your ground, knowing when to, you know, play it safe. This and that. Like there's nothing wrong with playing it safe. There's nothing wrong with, uh, you know, trying to learn more, put yourself in a risky situation to get knowledge, to get information. But don't be a fool, don't let them try to manipulate you into thinking, pridefully to where you might fall. That's exactly how Satan fell. So don't try to make them instill something into your mind to where you walk in pride and then you fall because of said person has done something and you went after their lead and you ended up getting caught up in something. Okay, so there's a lot that goes into this, and I just want you guys to know, dreams about zombies, or the dream that I had with this friend is all three of us were against these zombies. He had a attack helicopter with machine guns on the side, and it's crazy, and that all went away because of and whatever. Now he's one of them, so it's things like this. It's could you that was with 2 people or 3 people. Could you imagine what many more of us could do to stand against these kinds of people? Knowing in your heart that what you're doing is for a good cause, or not even for a good cause, but what you believe to be true and standing against is at least for yourself inside, and if it's true and if it's acceptable in the eyes of the Most High, who can tell you any different? So there's so much that, again, that I haven't yet figured out, but that I know to be true for myself with zombies, or even just my stance as a man. So I just wanted to touch on that little story real quick. Forgiveness. This is the one. This is how you make this. Turn into that. Now, what is that? That is no more darkness. That is a hidden. It's like a hidden thing that's sitting in your head because you've forgiven. All right, and then that is forgiveness. Okay, forgiven. Let me backtrack. So forgiveness is for. So to get rid of this is you have to forgive. Now it's easier said than done. Trust me. It's easier said than done. Everything that you've gone through, all the frustration, the crying, the months of feeling ashamed, the months of feeling all the work that you've been putting in hasn't gotten you to where it is that you want it to be. All right? Everything, forgiveness. Forgiveness is what's going to finally put it to rest. And you need to forgive the man or person that did this, okay? You have to. It's not only healing for you, but it's helping them understand, their own forgiveness as a person, it's helping them understand, I forgive you. You get a clean slate, like I once got a clean slate. Amongst each other. Okay, and that's what it is. Okay, that's what it's about. And so, when you do that, you need to understand and let that process for yourself. You can say it, you can speak it, and you can feel this thing close up, but you're not going to understand it and really realize it until you go through it again. All right? And so, forgiveness, it's easier said than done, but you need to put it into perspective here. The Most High is he's very loving and he's very forgiving. There's going to be a resurrection of the righteous and the wicked. Okay, so you need to understand that. And you're supposed to walk in his image. You know, every day you ask for forgiveness through repentance and anything that you do, you know, but when you're in the power to forgive somebody, are you just going to blow it off? Are you just going to make them wallow in that? You know, like you need to understand how impactful that is, not only for the person, but for yourself as well. You know, and like the maturity and spiritual understanding that you get from that to get to that next point in your life. Right? So, again, trust me, it's easier said than done. But it can be done. Alright, and it should be done. So, let me go to Romans 12:19. Okay, let me put that one last actually. So Proverbs, let me go to Proverbs 22. Proverbs 20:22. Okay, hold on. Alright, so let me do these last. Matthew 6:14. Matthew 6:14. All right, so this is for you, and this is for, you know, forgiveness, and this is how powerful this stuff is. And again, I'm reading this, and you might even feel anger and be like, "Well, you don't understand." I do, I get it, but you also need to understand that it's not about your feelings, all right? It's about just doing what it is that He wants you to understand. Whether you don't understand it and you do it anyway, it's going to come around and He's going to teach you. As long as you took that first step, and even though you did it and you don't understand, but you're walking in faith, it's going to come around again, and He's going to help you, teach you the rest of what it is that you need to do, okay, for yourself and what this process entails. Okay, so this is Matthew 6:14, 15. For if you forgive men their transgressions, your Father who is in heaven will also forgive you. But if you do not forgive men, your Father will also not forgive you your transgressions. Okay, so just a quick little thing there, and then Romans 12. Let me see. I guess I can skip that. And so, hold on. Bruh. 12. Okay, Romans 12:14 through 17. All right, here we go. So, bless your persecutors, bless and do not curse. Rejoice with them who rejoice, and weep with them who weep. What estimation you make of yourselves, do likewise to your brothers. Do likewise to your brothers, and do not indulge in arrogant thoughts, but unite yourselves with the humble-minded, and be not wise in your own estimation. And repay to no man evil for evil, but let it be your study to do good before all men. All right, and then Luke 6:27 through 36. I think this is it right here. Luke 6:27 through 36. But to you I say, to those who hear, love your enemies, and do good things to those who hate you, and bless those who curse you, and pray for those who take you with violence. And to him who strikes you on your cheek, offer the other to him. And from him who takes your cloak, do not keep back also your coat. From everyone who asks you, give to him, and from him who takes your property, do not demand your property back. And as you desire to do to you, you also do likewise to the sons of men. For if you love those who love you, what is your blessing? For even sinners love those who love them. And if you do good to those who do good to you, what is your blessing? For even sinners do likewise. And if you lend to whom you expect to be repaid from, where is your blessing? Even sinners lend to sinners, that they might likewise be repaid. But love your enemies, and do good to them, and lend and do not cut off the hope of man, and great will be your reward. And you will be the sons of the Most High, because he is pleasant to the evil and the cruel. Therefore be merciful, as your Father is also merciful. So, it's easier said than done, all right? Like, you gotta really, man, forgiveness is, the point of forgiveness is obviously, to give them a clean slate. But again, just because you forgive somebody, you do not have to let them back into your life. And I would, depending on what it is that you know as the person and whatever your stance is on that individual in the situation that transpired, you don't have to let anyone back in your life. You can let them go in peace with that forgiveness, and you can continue to go on the path that it is that you're trying to go in. That's what it's about, and that's what some of these people don't seem to understand. You need to set boundaries, and you need to understand that when you wake up and you're on a different playing field, there's people that, even though they've been forgiven, they're going to see that as an invitation to come back into your life to cause more havoc, or to make it seem like, they're what they say they're about, these things. But it's not it's far that's up to you. That's up to you in what he shows you. That's up to you in what he might make you feel about somebody being presented to you. Again, you can forgive them, but you don't have to let them back into your life. You can set boundaries. You don't even have to say hello to them. You don't have to do nothing, all right? You don't have to make them feel accepted. Just know that that forgiveness and that peace that should be there is for them and between you, but to respect it and go the other way, and if they keep trying you, then again, that's where I think the spiritual mature and understanding comes into play. If they keep trying you and testing you, that's because he's allowing it to. He's testing you to see if you're about your forgiveness. Again, let me get into that in just a minute. And yeah, the forgiveness, like I said, once you do that, it puts all of everything that you've ever felt towards this person and the things that they did to you. The whole cycle of from the beginning to the end. For me, it was 6 months. Okay, so everything that I was feeling in here, anger, frustration, hatred, and aggression towards this man, once you forgive them, all of that is going to go away. You don't have to deal with that. That's what I'm saying. You don't have to have that in your own heart, that it breaks that cycle of pain that you were going through, for yourself and what you were experiencing. And so that forgiveness alone towards those people it's going to help you. It's just going to help you release all of everything, that repeated cycle of walking in that anger and that frustration and that hurt. It's gonna release all of it, and then it's going to just let things be as they were, like before that. And again, that's where this comes into play. That thing. It's again, the darkness is gone, right? But now it's just a circle, and it's a kind of like a clear circle, all right? And so what that means is it's not over yet. It's basically hidden in your head, okay? So that forgiveness is done, you forgive them. Now, somebody else might try something different, they might come after your heart. They might try to do something again. They might vocally say something or try to make you feel in a state that you were once at during this whole process, okay? And that's your test. That's him testing you on whether or not you understand this forgiveness, on whether or not you understand what it is that you just said to forgive. Okay, so again, once you did that, once you forgive that person and you release all of that and you put that all in the past, it's going to come full circle around you again to see, and he's going to test you to see if you're about what it is that you just said. And if you don't realize what you did and you took that first step, then he's going to help you understand, like, this is the rest that needs to be taken care of. Okay? And so it's a test of forgiveness, and that's what it is. And then once, because I had something happen to me similarly after the fact, and it was from a woman. And I just kind of was like realizing, like, is this a test? And it was like, and once I made that connection, this this, well, I guess I can't make it any smaller, but this thing was shrunk. So instead of it being like that, it shrunk down to I guess this right here. And again, it's not dark. It's just white, because it's a test for your forgiveness to see. It's not like the darkness that's been in your head. It's light. It's for you. And so once that gets once you do this test of forgiveness, you go like that. It's not supposed to be dark, but it's light, right? So picture this white. And so it gets smaller, all right? And then once these things come around full circle for you again to actually test your forgiveness, it's going to get smaller. And then it's going to get smaller. And then it's going to get smaller. And then it'll finally go away. And that's how you beat this stuff. I mean, that's how you beat it. It's a process, and it's a journey. 2 hours of watching this video is nothing compared to 6 months. So again, once you understand the forgiveness and the test of it and going through it and forgiving them, the rest of everything, in this is going to start shrinking down and helping you understand and helping you, love your enemies. And not only that, but like, if you want the rest of this to go away, he's going to make you understand that you need to love them and that you need to walk in his image. Okay? The rain falls on the just and the unjust. All right? You need to look at it from the perspective of the Most High, on what he does. How he goes about being Elohim. And if you're given that position to forgive somebody, you best believe he's looking for you to understand how to walk in his image in that way. All right? And so, man, that's exactly it. And so, again, it's easier said than done. there's going to be people, if you're not able to pick up on things, they will throw you in prison. They will do things that are making you question whether forgiveness is even tolerable. But you got to put it into perspective from your salvation. You have to put it into perspective from what is being written in the Word, on what the Son says about forgiveness, on what He says about loving our enemies. All of these things, you got to put it into perspective and connect it to make the point that He's trying to make. All right, like use Him as an example. He when He was being set up by Judas, when Judas betrayed Him for 13 pieces of silver, he called Him brother as soon as He walked up to Him and kissed Him. Like, do you not see that? Like, you see how... And He knew that. He knew who was going to betray Him. But He didn't let that consume Him. And like, these are examples that we need to understand and learn for ourselves. It's easier said than done, but everything is written for us to learn how to be taught. And again, He called Him brother, and He knew He was going to betray Him. And He still let Him kiss Him on the cheek. So it's stuff like this that is, it's easier said than done. Okay? It's easy to read it, but when we're faced with these situations and testings, that's how we elevate ourselves to that next level. Okay? And so again, the forgiveness is to break the cycle of emotions so you can move forward as an individual. And you do not have to let people back into your life. It's, again, it's not that you don't trust them, it's the thing that you don't trust that's in them. Okay? It's those entities that brought this stuff to you. It's them that are conformed to this world. Okay? So it's them that have these connections to these dark forces and these dark elements. All right? So you don't have to let them back into your life. Me personally, I'm not. I'm not letting them back into my life because I know, what these people... I mean, I guess it depends. It depends on the situation. It depends on, it depends. It freaking depends. But for me, it depends. It depends. I've had situations or whatever. That's up to you as the individual. That's up to you and what it is He's trying to show you. If it's for you to move on in the direction that He wants you to move on, then cool, go for it. All right? And for me, He wants me to move on from people that are no longer for me, that I've had connections with. Okay? And so, it's, or even simply that I work with at work. There's things that people are, that they're just bound to. Okay? Like, you need to understand that, like, just because you forgive somebody or, anything like that, like, you don't have to, just don't be deceived. Don't be deceived by them trying to take advantage of your forgiveness. There we go. That's all I'm trying to say. Don't be deceived by them trying to take advantage of your forgiveness. Gosh, as simple as that. So that's it. That's all I got. I hope, this is... I'm sure this will hopefully make it to somebody on what to understand in regards to the sorcery or the witchcraft, magic, spells, whatever it may be. And just the power of forgiveness at the end to test your light. That's what that is, to test your light. The light that's around the darkness. All right, and then it's going to shrink, and then it's going to shrink the darkness, because all of this now is light, and then it's going to shrink it, and bam, it's gone. But no, once you forgive, you're going to have a test of forgiveness, and everything is for you. So I hope this was a pretty good teaching. Remember, this is only part 1. Part 2 will be about the heart, and that one I will make in time. So yeah, let's pray. Our Heavenly Father, Yahuah, Father, we love you. We thank you. I thank you, Father, for this information and knowledge that I've come across. It helped me and make me the man I am today, and I pray that this can be a blessing to many other people in this world on what to expect, what to overcome, how to overcome it, knowing that they're not alone with this, knowing that there is hope to destroy this destructive darkness, darkness that is that some people don't even realize that they're involved with. There's there's hope for each of us, each and every day. So I pray that this, somebody sees this and it's a blessing to them to understand and know that, there's a way to overcome this. There's a way to get rid of this. There's a way to understand your way rather than man's. There's a way to submit to you rather than to the authority of the world. There's things that it's just about you, Father. It's about you, our relationship with you, understanding you, listening to your commands, teaching us each and every day. The amount of wisdom and knowledge that I have to share in this video to help others overcome this stuff. Everything that I've pieced together and know to be true. And I just pray that this is something that people can see for themselves and experience and know that, what power there is in so much of this wisdom, dude, and how much you teach me, how much you've taught me, and where I am today and what you can do for others watching this video. Understanding that intimacy, understanding the dreams, understanding, all of these things that are just there. It's just crazy world that we live in. So I pray for them, Father. I pray for people that are not watching and watching this video, that are tuning in and not tuning in. I pray for them, Father, in the name of Yahushua. I bless them, Father, in Yahushua's name. And I pray that, again, I can walk in your forgiveness. I want it to be real, Father. I don't want to be a hypocrite. I want it to be authentic. I want it to be true to you and to who I am, Father, from the beginning of time. And I pray that other people are just like that as well. In the name, Father, of Yahushua. Amen.